Double check.
Is that still a 5-second delay?
There's a few seconds delay, but it's still a good job, Johnny. All right, it is 6:30. I call the meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go on to correspondence, I want to apologize to anybody who was watching our meeting live last month. There were some technical issues, but I think we have them hammered out. So I'm looking forward to this being a resounding success. As for correspondence, we don't have any good news. So on to the Highway Superintendent report.
All right, I think we were fairly quiet in March, at the end of the winter. We had 5 events that required sand and or plowing. The last load of my allotment of salt was delivered, and that's over with until next year. We had to make some repairs to the F-550 to get it to pass interstate inspection. We got the bills for parts on that we got to sign. Started to take the snow and ice equipment off of the trucks, cleaning, painting, making them ready for summer work. Doing the in-season service of the summer equipment, changing the oil and filters, and greasing and fixing anything that needs fixing so they're ready to go for the summer. My weekly calls with FEMA continue. Paperwork for the bridge project was submitted and it's making its way through their process. The Windfall Creek culvert that we've been working on with them is now estimated at $73,190.88 from, that's FEMA's estimate of what it would take to put it back to pre-disaster condition. Our 75% would come to $54,893.16. And that is what we would have for an alternate project. I'm not sure about the state's 12.5%, whether that would get involved in that or not. I need to ask that question. I had a rough estimate of nearly $200,000 for the replacement of the Stony Brook culvert, and I'm working with R&B Construction on a plan of repairing instead of replacing, which will be substantially less money. He's supposed to be up here in the next week or so, and we're going to go up there and see if we can do a repair, basically fixing the adding to the wall that sunk and dropping under the one that's undermined and putting the deck back on it. That will be substantially less than the estimate we got for replacement. We're still waiting on the land surveyor for the Voorhees Road to see whether we do in fact own property where we want to move the road. And another item, I'd like to purchase a hydraulic thumb for the excavator. I got a price from the vendor of $5,600. That's for the thumb and the brackets and stuff that are involved with it. At their location. We would install it ourselves. There'll be some other miscellaneous costs, hydraulic lines, fittings, and so on that we would need to complete it, which would bring the cost somewhere around $6,000. Reason I want that thumb is a lot of this work we're doing around culverts, we have to set stone around the culverts to reinforce the banks to prevent erosion and such, and you can't do it without having a thumb, and that's the reason I want to get it. So I'm hoping that you guys will agree with me that we can get that to put on the excavator.
Have you looked at our procurement policy to see in that price range what you would need to do bid-wise?
I need to ask you and all that.
Okay then.
Or the bids? I don't have the policy in front of me, but I'll send it to you.
This is, the vendor is the same vendor we bought the excavator from. And I don't know if it's a specific part to that particular machine, which it may be, I'm not sure.
Well, as long as they're under either like a New York State or a county contract, you know, the rules are a bit different. So, I think if you just present a purchase that complies with our procurement policy, we can approve it then. That's something we'll need.
Yeah, if I could get a look at that, then it'd be really good.
I will send that to you.
I have it, if you want to take a look at it quick. So we can move on with
Yeah.
it. If you,
Yeah, but we still need a write-up from the company, not just a general amount.
and that's it, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying, I don't have it in front of me, but we can't approve it today without the actual numbers down to the penny.
He doesn't have to do any bids, though, is what I'm saying. He
That's
can-
what the policy will tell us. I just can't remember off the top of my head because the highway's different than the general. So, it's just something you'll need to present to us. So, if it falls beneath a certain amount, it has, you know, different tiers of purchasing have different rules. And then if it's a state or a county contract, we're falling under for the purchase and, you know, so as long as we're complying with the rules, you bring that forward next month and you say, hey, this is the amount, this is what I'm following, and will the board approve it? There we go.
Away we go.
Happy to look at it.
All right.
There shouldn't be any issue getting it, though. We have the money to do it, so put it forward according
Just
to,
need to get.
Just need to-
get through your-
Yes, we just gotta make sure it's all high and tight and it's done correctly.
Yep.
so I'll give you a copy of this, or I'll just read it to you too. So 2,500 to 4,999.99, so $5,000. 2 quotes written on request form, and then 5,000 to 10,000, we'll say that 9,999. 2 written quotes attached to a request form.
Okay.
So you basically need 2 quotes,
Yes.
and then we can approve it.
Thank you for looking that up, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
I do have one other item I forgot. On our hiring for the mechanic, I have one application. That's it. I don't, if you want to advertise again or not, that's, I guess, up to you folks. If you want to proceed with the one application I have, I'm fine with that.
So let me interject here. It's your appointment, so you get to pick who you hire and fire. We don't have a say. So if you're comfortable with that, go ahead. Anybody else want to interject? I mean, we
Yeah,
don't have to know who it is, it's your call, so,
Did he meet the qualifications that you were
He does.
requesting?
He does.
Okay,
He does, and that's the only application we have.
okay.
so it's up to you if you want it open again, we'll reopen it, or if you're comfortable hiring that person, that's your decision.
I'm good as long as you people are good.
Oh, no, this is all
That's all
you.
Wait.
And if there was an issue with the applicant, you didn't feel he was a good fit for the highway department, then we consider, you know,
Mhm.
re-advertising and see if we can get more people. But if you're happy sitting down doing the interview and hiring this person,
Yeah,
that, you know.
I'll go ahead and set up an interview and do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Very good.
Instead of you're fired, you're hired.
Yeah.
All right. On to the code enforcer.
Okay, had 2 meetings, 6 hours of school, and a few calls. Things are starting to pick up now, but this COVID and the building materials are going right back up again. I don't know why, if they're gouging or what's going on, but there's a lot of people that got permits last year and didn't build because it just went out. And now it's going back up again, so I don't know if they're gonna start building or, I don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully we'll get back to normal sometime, so.
And the lumber prices are out of sight.
Yeah.
I mean, we were checking into it. And they can't get a lot of it, they need more truckers to get it here and all that. So, the whole snowball effect,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. On to the assessor report for March. On the 5th, he states he had some difficulty getting onto the laptop. It kept requiring him to access his Microsoft account. He was able to get around the block. He returned one phone call. He key punched change of address requests. He modified the new change of address form to be used. All new exemptions have been processed and met with one property owner regarding exemptions. He returned emails. He also researched a significant amount of addresses that cannot be forwarded. Some had new address changes. A couple I was able to get a contact phone number. About half I could not get any new or forwarding address. It's very important that your address is up to date so the assessor can contact you regarding tax purposes. So if anyone believes that they need to update their address, please get in touch with Dave Galerno. On the 27th, he did exemption processing and document sorting. I also want to make a note that Mr. Galerno is starting to go around properties and update his inventory and make sure that his files are correct. And a few property owners have gotten in touch with me going, who is this weird man on my property and what does he want? So I suggested to him having business cards, possibly hand them out. This is who I am, I represent the town. He mentioned that in the town of Nassau, where he's also an assessor, he has a town badge, has his picture, his town credentials. You know, it's not something you can just print at the local print shop. But I started thinking maybe, you know, the code enforcement officer and the dog control officer should have them as well to show identification when they're doing official town business. If the board thinks this is something we should look into, it's easily designed. I just need pictures of the people getting the badges and just a price quote. And they can just put it right on their shirt and be able to identify themselves a bit more clearly. So if you guys would like me to look into that, I'm happy to.
I can look into it.
Karen was unable, our dog control officer, Karen Jakeway, was unable to come this month, but she did specify to me that in an email, she has some tickets to issue for court on the 20th of this month and 2 inspections. BTI Director Secura, you're up.
Okay, thank you. Right now, I've been updating maps to reflect the landowner's decision on whether to let us on the property or not. So I have a few properties there that I had to change. As the letters come in, they keep coming in, so there may be more, I don't know. Met with a team to divide up all the creeks that Justin Pruden had, and we're probably going to be able to get to maybe 70% of them if we do that, so. Definitely going to have to put something else on next year. Water, oh, by the way, I do have a contact. He contacted me 2 years ago, right after I did the, had the class. And I told him that we tried hiring anybody for a few years. He said, well, keep me in mind. So I still have his number, which is good. The water was very high prior to the end of March, so it's really, I mean, we can treat that high water, but it's really costly if we do, because you're using a ton of pesticide. So we elect not to do that. And so towards the end of the month, the last 2 days of the month were great. The water was down, I was able to get it out. And now it's fine, so we're treating right along. Finding some larvae, quite a bit of larvae too, especially in the sunshine right now.
Please take care of them.
Yeah, they die very easy.
Hair and sweeping.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Wonderful, thank you. The town board got a copy of the justice report. He received $100 for the month of March. The historian had no report. Town clerk Neely,
Yes.
do you have anything to report to the board?
Well, the only thing is that I have appointed Tracy Cooper as my deputy. She will begin working not this Saturday, but the following Saturday.
Okay.
And be working with me on. She lives over, she and her husband live over on 119.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, now for my report. The town board got a copy of a resolution to accept FEMA checks pertaining to the October 31st, 2019 storm that were received in March 2021. We have 3 checks. One was received March 10th in the amount of $17,278.07. One for March 16th in the amount of $2,635.64. And March 15th in the amount of $2,842.67. They will be deposited to DA 3960, State Emergency Disaster Assistance, in the amount of $6,942.55, and DA 4960, Federal Emergency Disaster Assistance, for $15,813.83. The total year-to-date we have accepted is $44,565.36. That's just for informational purposes. So I would like to put forth this resolution. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Are there any questions? No. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
On that, thank you for putting the deposit accounts.
We had 2 people apply for the open cleaner position for the town hall. We have a Karen Jakeway and we have a Nikki Harper. If the town board would like to schedule an executive session that aligns with their schedules so we can interview them both. Karen Jakeway is our current dog control officer, but I've cleared it with the town attorney, Mike Albanese, that there's no conflict of interest regarding her holding both positions. So is that something you would like to schedule, or would you rather wait till after the meeting and discuss it a little further? Because I like to be able to get in touch. I've been cleaning this hall for 3 months, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm done with it. So.
I think we should set up the interviews for them. Would the whole board have to be there, or, so we'd have to have a time, all 5 of us could be there, plus
At least a
each
quorum.
person? Okay,
At least a quorum.
so.
So if you'd like, I can get in touch with both of them and see what times work for them, and then I can contact you.
Okay.
And we can see about getting at least 3 of us in.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I will contact them tomorrow. We had our town gazebo collapse about a month ago. I think it was actually closer to 2 months ago, but with the snow, we weren't actually able to see it. Now that everything's melted, 9 Years gotten in touch with me, and they told me that we need 2 quotes to submit for the rebuild value. We don't have to follow the procurement policy because this is money we'll be using from the insurance company. It won't be tax dollars. So I just had that clarified. So I will be getting in touch with a few local companies to get those quotes. We also have to discuss the contract negotiations and who will be the town representative. I gave the board a copy of 2 potentials. We have Butch Ventura, which did our previous contract negotiations from Strategic Labor Services. He states his hourly rate is $90, and this consists of on-site labor services, office work when necessary, as well as travel to and from our location. That is an accrual. And then we also had our town attorney, Michael Albanese, submit a proposal. He says he would be willing to do the contract negotiations for the price of $3,000, and if it goes to mediation, then I would charge my hourly rate of $150 per hour. The chances of it going to mediation are pretty slim. So this is something the board would need to discuss, because we really need to have a representative soon. So I'd like to hear what the board has to say about it.
I recuse for this, right? Or can I?
No,
No.
you can talk about the appointment, but
Yeah.
anything to do with the negotiations, you would have to recuse.
Okay, so,
Because this,
We had this Butch, 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
3.
3?
well, it was accepted in 2019. We
Oh.
hired him in 2018. So we were a little late getting a contract agreed upon, so we actually had to back pay the highway employees. So yes, but we did. And I personally wasn't involved in any of that. I think the only person that was involved that's on the board currently is Lorraine. She's not here to attest. I can say that I couldn't pull the final number before the meeting, and I apologize because I just didn't have time, but I think we paid close to $5,000 to Butch over the course of the negotiations for our previous contract.
Well, I was wondering too, do you remember, Al, was he the one that we had when we had the problem at the town barn with the mold? You remember when they looked upstairs and wasn't it that Butch that came in to try to, between the town guys and us?
Could have been, I can't remember now.
I mean, is he a mediator for them too, or this would be just our?
This would just be
He
for
would
the
be
contract
just our contract
negotiations.
negotiation, and they would have their own,
Yes, they have their own representative.
okay, that's what I was wondering.
And we would have to appoint two board members to be the facilitators. The highway department has their two, we have our two. And my thoughts on this was that Lorraine did it previously, and for all intents and purposes, from what I understand, she did a commendable job, but I also
Yeah.
think a different person should do it this time. Just because there's things that might not have been thought of. So, I believe as supervisor, as the point of contact, I'm one of them, if the board agrees, but obviously Tiffany's completely out, so. If you want to hold off until next month on this, I think that's the last month we could put this off. If you'd like to mull it over and maybe look into some other things and discuss it further.
Okay, yeah, I want to hold it off
Okay.
a little then.
Nope, that's absolutely fine.
I do have one question on Butch's quote though. So his $90 though includes him traveling to and from.
Yes,
So it
So
would
from
be
him-
$180 just to get him here and home,
yes,
plus however long he's here.
yes.
So keep that in mind when
Yeah,
you're
yep.
thinking of your lump sum of what you're paying him.
And that's why I said I think we paid close to $5,000 for the previous negotiations. Now that was between two fiscal years, 18 and 19. So it's something for us to think about, and hopefully by next month, if any of the board members have any questions, feel free to contact me, and I'm happy to answer all the questions I can. But that's informational, that's all I have.
Do we have a line for that for contract negotiations, or is that just lumped into highway?
We have a
What is it?
line that nothing was allocated to because
Okay.
everybody forgot this is the year we go into contract
Okay.
negotiations, so we will
Okay.
have to do budget transfers for this.
I was going to say, well, and I mean, I don't remember how long it took, but that's like 33 hours of his time for, here comes our lawyer, 33 hours at the $90 an hour would be roughly his $3,000. Gee, did we have that? Doesn't seem like we were negotiating that much.
It's not just him coming out with the negotiations, it's all the office work, it's the phone calls of him going back and forth.
Oh, so
everything's
he's on the clock the
billable.
whole time?
Yes, he's on the clock for
Anytime he's
anything
working
he
on
does.
Okay.
Much like a lawyer,
I get
welcome,
you.
Mike.
Yeah, like the lawyers, you know?
Nickel and diming us.
It's always our call.
Hey, in his defense, this is a lump
We
sum.
just
He's not
do
doing
it.
the hourly, so.
Everybody wants a cheap messenger.
Any other questions on that?
No.
Okay. Okay, on to the financial report. The board was given a copy of all the bank statements and a copy of the QuickBooks monthly budget update report for review. Okay, any questions on them? No? All right. On to the payment of the bills. Can I have a motion to pay the bills?
I make a motion, we pay the bills.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Let me check this. I open public speaking at 6:55. For anybody who would like to speak publicly, the podium is right over there. If you could wear your mask when walking up to the podium and put it back on when sitting down. You can take it off while standing and speaking. I'd like the limit to be 5 minutes. And we generally try to avoid the board going back and forth with the public, just as a rule, so.
Well, can I introduce Heather?
Absolutely, you're a board member.
Heather Scribner for Fulton County Treasurer is here with us tonight. Heather, if you'd like to say a few words.
Thank you for welcoming me, and I'm just popping in, so you really didn't know I was coming, so I appreciate your warm welcome. Like she said, I'm Heather Scribner. I'm running for Fulton County Treasurer, and I did pass out my resume and a little bit about myself. And I currently work as an administrator and a financial manager for a large nonprofit. And I have 20 employees, 20 trustees that I'm accountable to. I serve on the finance committee, and I do all aspects of financial work, accounting, nonprofit accounting I specialize in. And I have been a business owner, so I had a little bit of that experience. And I also, back in my day, I was a town clerk, so I understand abstract of claims, I understand the process, and you guys do a great job, and it's very impressive that it's harder for a small town to try to get all this budgeting in and dealing with the state and highway department and all those needs. So it was nice hearing you guys conduct your business in your service. And that's all I really have. There'll be a June 22nd primary. I am a Republican, and I'll be running on that line. And that's it. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Since the camera's not on you, if you could just introduce yourselves as well, I forgot to mention that.
Gary Brown.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Larry. You know, on the A.B. Road Bridge right there, we cut the tree up in, now he dug that ditch, and he put a small culvert pipe in, and he took care of the problem for 30 years. He cleaned the bridge off with that ditch, 8 feet of ditch he dug, and cleaned the culvert pipe. That eliminated the flooding on the A.B. Road Bridge right there.
That's
30
all
years. Thank you. And also on Headcock Road and the county road where A Bears live, you did an excellent job cleaning that off. There's no flooding there. That was a good, that hasn't happened in a long time. And I also have a question. You talked about a thumb for the excavator. Now you're going to do the job yourself. I am, it's a good idea, the thumb. But if you put that on, will that do away with the warranty on the thing that you bought?
The warranty's over.
Yeah, but when you put the thumb on, is there a warranty on the thumb? On the functioning part and all this? On the metal?
Whether there is or not, I'm not sure about a warranty on the thumb, but it won't
It won't
affect it if we install it ourselves.
Okay, because I did work for a company, and if they didn't install it, they wouldn't warranty it.
No, I talked with the salesman when we were looking to buy it. and
Okay.
It's not an issue,
It's not an issue.
It'll save us some money on
Right,
using our labor instead of theirs.
right. If you got the skill, know how to do it and save money. I agree
And
with you.
the bracket on the machine is already there.
Right, I have it on my tractor. Everything is there. And if I buy it, I'm responsible, but I don't get the warranty with it, because I did the work myself.
It won't be a problem for us.
Okay, that's good. And the conflict of interest on town clerk and bar. The lawyer was supposed to research the matter.
I'm sorry, I didn't announce that. The lawyer came back and said there was no conflict of
No
interest.
conflict, okay. I have a question on these mandate taxes for the county and stuff. That's pretty sickening, the Medicare and the Medicaid that we pay and stuff. Now, how can we go about changing that? Because I was watching the news,
Larry?
and I don't understand this.
Gary,
Huh?
can you guys have this discussion after the meeting?
Oh, okay.
It's a better venue to do that.
All right, I just want to bring out everybody's interest, because they're paying the taxes.
Wonderful. No,
They
that's
don't
great.
feel like paying child support, they drop the kid over the fence and walk away. That's basically what happens. Michigan, California, Illinois, they're paying now, because Biden sent these kids all over the place. That could be our problem. Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? Okay. I close public speaking at 7 o'clock. Is there any old business we'd like to discuss?
Sort of, kind of. So that sign, am I able to keep doing that sign for this year, or do you want to have any discussion on that, or am I free to go? Do you have something you'd like written on there? We could do board meetings, or if you want to just keep it with the happy spring, happy summer messages. Now that I can actually get there, I figured I would check and see if there's anything specific we want posted up there.
I think if there's something that we would like to be posted specifically, we'll get in touch with you.
Okay.
How's that
Yeah.
sound? Otherwise, those nice messages, I love seeing them. I like seeing
Start
sign
around.
in use.
Otherwise, if something does come up in the town that we can
Yeah.
open up again and do, we'll get in touch with you.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
Yeah, that's absolutely a
And
great point.
decorate, I'm free to decorate it or whatever.
Well,
Do I
don't
need
go
permission?
spray painting.
Well,
it.
no, I mean, it does need a little facelift, but am I good to do that, or do I need approval for that, or just?
I would say if it's a temporary, like if you're just putting flowers in the pot beneath.
Yeah, that's the same thing I did last year, I just
Yeah.
wondered if it's
I don't
okay.
You did a great
to-
job at it.
Yes, I think it was wonderful, so
Okay.
as long as it's nothing permanent, like painting it or anything temporary, I don't think there's
Okay.
an issue with.
Okay,
Thanks, Tiffany.
surprise, okay.
Yeah.
Any more old business? Any new business? I love quick meetings. They're the best. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:02 PM. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Any
Right,
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Short and sweet.